Hello, agentpreneurs, and welcome to episode 75 of the Daily List Report. We've got a great show for you today. Many of you have written me and you've said, I want more practical tips for social media. So we've had a lot of great social media experts on this show to talk about how they're leveraging all of these platforms for success. But you guys have reached out to me and you've said, hey, I need some more practical tips, practical content, a little bit more of the basics. So we're going to give that a shot today. Please let us know in the comments what you think of this. So today we're talking about the 3 steps to social media success. 3 steps. That's going to be really exciting. Now, before we get started today, make sure you subscribe to our channel and click the little bell to be notified of all of our new videos. All right, so today, again, we are talking about the 3 steps to social media success. What does that mean? First, let's talk a little bit about the social media landscape. All right, so we're gonna talk about 3 major platforms today, LinkedIn being the first one. So LinkedIn, probably no surprise, is maybe the most effective social platform for building your business network. And I've spoken to a lot of agents who leverage LinkedIn in ways that are really interesting, right? So they're leveraging their relationships and contacts with a business audience to share thought leadership, to write pieces about what's going to happen in 2020 or what's happening on the market. They're engaging and commenting on other people's posts. And it is yet another channel, though I would encourage you to try to keep things more professional, if that makes any sense, on LinkedIn. It is more of a business network. So come at your comments and your replies to people, maybe talking about what's happening in the market rather than simply saying, hey, do you want to sell your house? I can sell your house for you, right? So it's a little bit different platform. So we're talking about things that you can share here being thought leadership, writing articles that, that talk about what's happening in the market, add comments to other people's posts. Now, of course, in addition to LinkedIn, we have Facebook and we have Instagram. So obviously massively popular platforms. And in our estimation, this is most effective for connecting with potential clients, right? So again, whereas LinkedIn may be better for you to stay relevant and top of mind with loan officers and title reps and other people within your professional network, Facebook and Instagram are going to be better for you to have a direct-to-consumer interaction. And so what to share? Eye-catching visuals. We'll talk about how to make that really easy. Add a personal touch, right? So a lot of times on these platforms, we've melded our personal and our professional lives. Herman Chan, who was on earlier this week, talked a lot about that, right? People used to have very separate presences on social media, my personal and my business, and now it's kind of all one and the same. And whether you like it or not, there's a bit of transparency, maybe too much transparency for some people, but there's more transparency than ever before between those two things. And, it's really about creating compelling content, and that's going to be a challenge, but we're going to talk about exactly how to do that. So let's talk about creating engaging content. It's going to be about posting consistently. This is important. Remember when we talked last week about maybe building a YouTube channel, we talked about setting goals there, right? So maybe I'm going to do 100 videos in 100 days or a video a month, whatever your frequency is, consistency is really important. So just like a YouTube channel, right, and video content, social media isn't something that you can just dabble in. You need to be consistent about it. So post consistent content, post it regularly, build themes in that. Change up your content. You don't want to post the exact same thing every day, right? Just posting funny memes is great, but you can't only post funny memes. You're going to have other pictures that show maybe your life or your transactions, your success, proof of production, things like that. And it's a great opportunity to start conversations. So what are some examples of engaging content? And by the way, we're going to make this deck available to you in the description of the show, and we'll put it in the comments as well. That way you can link to this. So when we talk about engaging content, right, we're talking about using a formula to keep your content interesting, right? For example, let me pull this up on screen a little bit bigger here. For example, posting listing information on Monday. And if you don't have any listings, that's okay. Maybe you're sharing listings of other people in your office, right? Or you're giving market statistics and updates. Maybe on Wednesdays you're posting fun facts, and on Fridays you're posting open houses. There's all sorts of types of content that you can produce. Now, naturally, we have a shareables product. Hopefully all of you know this, and hopefully all of you use this. But with our shareables product, which is free, right? Regular shareables is free, and 5 days a week we give you what we think is very compelling content, and you can post that really easily on social media. So again, this comes in your email every day. It's available in product in the shareables tab. You can click, we write your captions, you can share on Facebook, and you're done. And if you are so inclined, you can also upgrade to premium shareables, which I have enabled here. And premium shareables, again, allows you to pick branded templates for your shareables. It allows you to put in really fun, taglines in the shareables, and you can actually share these amazing things out there that carry your branding as well. So that's pretty cool, right? So creating engaging content. This is really about, again, finding a formula, what works for you. So remember what we talked about last Friday is as you build your brand, as you understand your why, these things are going to become more clear. If you're positioning yourself as the local market expert, great. Then post content about the neighborhoods, about new construction, about changes right now, frequently, right? As we go through this COVID crisis and we have the ups and downs, things are changing regularly, and you have an opportunity to keep your audience and your sphere of influence informed as to what's happening right now. That's really important. So your content strategy may change over time, and right now there's a lot to talk about, frankly, but program this out. You can actually sit down on a piece of paper in a spreadsheet, and you can say, okay, on Mondays, I'm going to do this type of content, Tuesdays, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And with the ListRapport shareables, if you like them, use them. If you don't, I wish you liked them. But that's another thing that you can throw into the mix to mix up the content and create really engaging and compelling content. Okay, so what's next? Next is build a following. So again, we talked about this last week as a lead in to creating, for example, let's say a YouTube channel, right? But you're going to have to interact with your current followers. You're going to want to use popular hashtags, and you're going to want to collaborate with your team. So what does that mean? So in terms of building a following, you're going to want to start conversations with your followers. And you can use captions to ask questions, right? So for example, you could say, actually, I'll give you a relevant example. Someone, an agent that I'm connected to, posted yesterday who said, hey, during this coronavirus time, what new hobby have you started? That's a conversation starter, right? And so a lot of people responded. They're like, oh, I've picked up digital art, or I picked up, I don't know, basket weaving, whatever it is, right? People want to respond to that. They want to have a conversation around that. And that's a really great way to do that. So start a conversation by using captions in your photos to ask questions that people can respond to in the comments. Hashtags also increase visibility, so they are important. Whether you like them or you don't like them, the reality is that hashtags create visibility, and it really helps your content get seen. So make sure you utilize them. And again, if we go back to the premium shareable or the shareables product that we have, we've included some hashtags in there, and we try to change them up from time to time. But if you're not sure where to start, there are many places for you to find really great hashtags that you can utilize. So again, you're going to want to build a following. And when we talked about this in last week's episode, I think you have to be really diligent about this. You have to reply to every comment. I think that's important, right? So as I look at, this YouTube channel and building a following here with all of you, I think about it as if I'm building a relationship with all of you out there. So we have some viewers who are super loyal, and they're always commenting, and I always make sure I reply to them, but I also make sure I reply to the new guests who come on and the new people who respond in the comments, right? So that they feel like their voice is heard, right? So when they're giving us feedback or advice, or they're just saying great job, or maybe they're saying we're not doing a great job, These are opportunities to engage with your audience. All right, step 3, establish yourself as the area expert. Share your personal experience with the area, show off the highlights of the area, and build credibility so your listings stand out. So what does that mean? All right. So when we talk about demonstrating area expertise, there's a lot of ways that you can do this. And, as I think about, if I were an agent, right, what would I be doing? People want to see you, right? They want to see you talking about things or posting about things that are going to make them smarter, or if we're talking right now in the context of becoming an area expert, right? This is your opportunity to establish your expertise, right? To put your market knowledge out there in a way that somebody remembers. They said, yeah, that's the agent that I'm going to use, because they're always talking about what's happening in the market, and they've made me a little bit smarter, and they clearly know what they're talking about. And so you could be posting about local market statistics. You could be posting about changes in the law. You could be, not giving tax advice or mortgage advice, right? But there are ways that you can talk about changes that are happening in the market that might impact a homeowner. You could be encouraging them to refinance. There's all sorts of things that you can do. And, if you can do this in a way that currently is safe, you can walk around and you could do a neighborhood tour, right? You could walk around, and I showed you an app called Double Take that allows you to do this, that you could record your face and the neighborhood, and you could just talk about the highlights and the benefits of that neighborhood. Remember, we're in a time right now where there's lots of migration that's starting to happen. People are leaving big urban cities and they're going to suburban and even rural areas. So what does that mean for the kind of content that you can create? So many interesting opportunities here to create content that is not only compelling, but it's extremely informative to your viewers. And I think that that's a really exciting opportunity right now. So I know this was relatively high level today, I should say. But, we talked about creating engaging content. And that is one of the biggest challenges that I know all of you have. So shareables that we offer for free are a great way to do that. We have a paid upgraded version that gives you some extra shareables that are unique and differentiated, and some branding techniques, which is awesome. But there are other sources. We have a lot of agents who are using Canva to create content. I know it's time consuming, but if you put a schedule in place, if you define the content strategy that you're going to have, it's going to make that feel a lot easier. Again, step 2 is to build a following. And as we've talked about time and time again, that's about engagement, right? Talking to people, creating regular content, making sure that you're reaching out and you're responding, that you're engaging your audience by saying, hey, what did you think of today's show? So that's my call to action to you right now. What did you think of today's show? And then the third step is to establish yourself as an area expert. And that's really important, right? Because this is your authority. This is your opportunity to make sure that people who are casually looking at, your content in the feed or otherwise are always remembering that, that's the agent that I'm going to work with, because they know exactly what's going on. So very interesting. So fairly high level today, but we try to get into the weeds a little bit more. This is sort of, we're building up towards maybe putting together some free workshops or something to get into the details. I hope you enjoyed the show. If we didn't touch on anything that you wanted us to, please let us know what that is, as we continue to try to program content that's going to make you delighted and smarter in what you do and more successful ultimately. So until tomorrow, be safe, be healthy, be happy. We'll see you soon.